Inga mana, inga reo, inga ko tukurere, tihe mauri ona. Tahi te mihi ki te atu e runga rawa, nāna te timatanga, nāna te whakamūtunga, te mihi hoki ki ngā mate, kua wheturangi haere, tātou ngā kānohi ora tēnā tātou katoa. Kia ora. Kulana o si li Inga mar whaftai tau Tumalelangi. O nangale le mano na lofu mwhai au tātou au lia nei mawhtanga pātou o whi nei tai a fō. O te whatalo whātu pa ia mamalu leo whangarunga pa ia le tua malatu pale tua. Pa pe fōi pa ia mamalu tūpu ma te māli o ala tai mai nei tai au. Ale ngata fōi lea o pa ia mamalu o te mā matina matitua. Alama whanau o mai masani. Talofa lava, malo lava so tu mau malangi ma. Whawhatai ki o tō mafu, ki ono ofa pe mo he tapua. Whakatapu ki Chancellor, ke whakatapu ke Vice Chancellor. Oku loto ma whana ma loto whiwhika seo atu ki kainga tonga ki tau lava mai hotane. Whiwhika tau whakataha, ki tau celebrate whakataha he graduation tau whana, malo lawa. Nisambula, ki rana, whakalawhalai atu, namaste. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a wonderful privilege for me to be standing amongst your midst this afternoon. I'm proud, listening to the great Ben Marquisi, the hero on the back of my head, if I got any hair. Was just absolutely standing, and I was just shaken with pride. Why? Because he's a young role model who's taken the opportunity with his talent, who's made the most of these opportunities, and I congratulate him as one of our wonderful, wonderful Pacific Island role models. I also got to pay tribute to a lot of people that are here. It's quite fascinating. As I was coming down on the plane, I was at a meeting this morning and I was running late, and I knew I was going to be late, and I got there just in time. I was the last one on the airplane, and as I was coming down, I was able to open up my envelope, and in the envelope it had the program, and I must admit I was absolutely terrified when I looked at all the people that I was sitting amongst, just like Professor Fina was talking about. I was so scared coming down here because all these wonderful professors and Chancellor and Vice Chancellor and all these wonderful tutors, they all got all these different letters behind their names. And it reminded me when I was going to my first job interview, and at the end of my name I put down AU and UE. Because you see, when I look around here, I see that a lot of you guys have passed and you've graduated. And I remember the employer was saying to me, so Inga, well done on your first interview, but what does AU and UE stand for? I said, well, absolutely useless. And UE didn't stand for university interest, it stood for unemployment. But I'm proud why? Because I know it takes a lot of courage. And I look at the students who have graduated today, it takes a lot of courage. I suppose I've never passed anything at school except for the rugby ball. But I'm proud. I'm proud of who I am. I'm proud of who my parents made me who I am. I remember in the early 70s we got on the plane, and I was born into a small family of 14. And I remember my mum and dad, they decided very early that their journey was to bring us here, to give us better opportunities. We left Samoa, and I can claim to fame that Ben Marquisi comes from Pasifika. Well, my village is right next door to that, Whaiashi. So I got a bit of claim to Ben as well. But I remember arriving here, and there was only 4 of us, because the New Zealand immigration rules back then was you're only allowed to take 4. Mum and Dad already had 12 of us. And so we had to give the others up for adoption, and thankfully in Samoa, you adopt them out to your grandparents. So we came here in the early 70s, and we came straight from Samoa, straight down to Inga. And that's where I was brought up with, in my first primary school. And the challenge it was for my family, my mum and my dad. I remember looking at my mum and dad thinking, have they made the right decision, bringing us all the way from sunny Samoa to this cold climate way down the bottom of New Zealand. But you know, back those days, it was desperate times. And when you're desperate, you make desperate decisions. And you do whatever you can to survive. And Dad got a job building railway tracks for Transrail New Zealand. And I went to primary school, obviously, but my mum got an outgoing job in the freezing works. So it was just tough times back then. But we came here, we knew that we had to survive. We knew we couldn't look back. And you know, yes, everything else after I became an All Black has been fantastic, and I became an All Black at the age of 19. And I tell you what was really fascinating about that, not because I was an All Black, but because it was a milestone amongst our Pacific Island people. You see, we've had the great Michael Joneses, the great Joe Stanleys, the Orla Browns, the great Byron Williams, but there's never been a Pacific Island person with a Pacific Island name. Yes, don't get me wrong, don't disrespect to those guys, they are Pacific Islanders. But to have your name read out, and as a 19-year-old All Black, as a full-blooded Pacific Island Samoan getting into the All Blacks and going to Europe, you know, it was an amazing, I suppose, achievement, not only for my family, but for the rest of what was yet to come. And I suppose the rest is history, The rest is history, because you look now, the All Black team is just full of Islanders, and you feel proud. And you know, my journey in my sport have taken me all around the world. I'm very honoured to pull that All Black jersey. You know, one of the things that I've learned in both games, rugby league and rugby union, is there's two words. One is called team, and the other one is called pride. And you know, the acronym for team is TEAM, together everyone achieves more. But the second one, PRIDE, pride, personal responsibility in delivering excellence. So one is a collective thing and one is an individual thing. And you know, when you put those together, you've got ingredients, you've got a real recipe for success. And so when I look back on my career, yes, I'm a has-been now. I'm over the top. I've retired from this wonderful game that's given me so much. But one of the things I've learned from that is they use the opportunities as a vehicle